Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Vlatko. I'm one of the co-chairs for SIG Docs, and this is the SIG Docs biweekly meeting for this Tuesday, the 14th of May, 2024. Big thanks for everyone joining, and hi to YouTube world. We are hosting our regular biweekly meeting today, and I wanted to give a shout out to a couple of new tech leads that we've got as part of SIG Docs. That's Xander and Kat, and Xander joins us today. I know Kat is currently on a flight flying, and so not able to be here today. Regarding this meeting, this is a special interest group as part of the Kubernetes project, which means that we abide by the Kubernetes Code of Conduct. Means generally we want folks to respect one another and be kind to one another in all the different ways and forms that we collaborate. This meeting is one of those ways. Slack, GitHub is another few ways as well. And if you do find any kind of instances that you wish to report, as a code of conduct violation, we do have ways to do that by contacting the Code of Conduct Committee. You can contact them at conduct@kubernetes.io, but I'll read that information out again later on. Thanks again for joining us. For folks who are new to SIG Docs and wanted to kind of say hello and give a shout out, now is your time to do so. Anyone want to unmute and say hi?
Hi, it took me a while to unmute. It's Sylvester. Sylvester Carolan, new, so just listening in, see how things are going.
Great, welcome, Sylvester.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Anyone else wanting to unmute and say hi? You can also absolutely choose to do so in chat. That's completely all right. No one needs to only unmute and to introduce themselves. If you wanted to add as that you're a new person to that list that I've just added to in the agenda, you can. Otherwise, we can kick off to the next part of our general information here that we give in SIG Docs, which is our updates and reminders section. So in SIG Docs, for folks who are new, we have a way that we partition a lot of the work that we need to get done, which is around PRs. We call it PR wrangling, and that's everyone who's an approver in the SIG, who has approver capabilities and permissions. We do shifts, weekly shifts of wrangling PRs, which is just trying to get contributions over the finish line and get them moving through the project, moving through docs. And these are specifically focused on our English documentation. And so with that, this week's PR wrangler, thank you for stepping in last minute, is Xander. And Xander will be doing the wrangling for this week. So if folks need some reviews of PRs and they want to actually get the attention of PR wranglers, Xander is for this week. And then for next week, we've got Depeche, who is actually being shadowed by Steve Hardman. Shadowing is something that folks can do with PR wrangling, so you can reach out to the PR wrangler that you wish to shadow and get on that list. And then the following week's wrangler will be Tim, still a tech lead for a couple more days, but tech lead emeritus for us here at SIG Docs. And he will still be hanging out in the approver circle and helping us out with docs in general. So thank you so much, Tim. Tim will be shadowed by at Network Charles for that week of wrangling. Generally, approvers, we want you to make sure that you know what your shifts are. We try and give reminders in our SIG Docs channel and here in meetings, but please follow the link for the PR Wrangler shifts to know yours. We also have, as part of SIG Docs, we created a new role last year called the Issue Wrangler, which works generally the same as the PR Wrangler, but specifically for issues. We have gotten quite good in SIG Docs, I would say. Actually, a week or two ago, Ray and I and Divya, our other co-chair, were chatting about how for the English docs we were under 100 open PRs, which was awesome. But our issue number is quite large, and getting through those issues and triaging them and making sure that they're ready for any kind of contributor to take them on is something that we needed to create a separate role for. And so this is what the issue wrangler is also going to be doing. So this week's issue wrangler is Gaudav Padam, and next week's issue wrangler is Depeche. Again, wranglers, please make sure, generally to reviewers in our group, please make sure that you know your scheduled shifts as well. And all of these links are also available in the SIG Docs channel in the specific topic agenda part at the top there of the channel. Okay, finally, once again, we follow the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, and if you do believe that there's been a violation at an event or a meeting or in Slack or GitHub PRs, we want you to reach out to the Kubernetes Code of Conduct committee, and you can do so via email conduct@kubernetes.io. As a note, your anonymity will be protected, and I know that for a fact. I've used the service before. I've used the user process before. So that being said, let's go into our agenda. And for folks who are following at home and following in YouTube land, the new release for Kubernetes, the new cycle started yesterday on Monday, the 13th of May for release 131. Our release lead for this cycle will be Angelos. I've put the information of the leads that are going to be important for us in SIG docs to have contact with. But Angelos will be our release lead. Our docs lead for this release will be Olubube Princess. And our comms lead will be Abigail McCarthy, who is actually our localization subproject lead here in SIGDocs as well. But these three folks you'll be hearing a lot more from and of as we go through the release cycle for the next many weeks. And we'll have Princess and Abigail joining these meetings to give us updates for docs and comms throughout the release cycle as well. So a huge congratulations to the folks getting lead roles for this release. And I've just got some important dates for everyone. I won't read them all out, but some important dates for everyone to note for this upcoming release. One that I will call out specifically and that I've just highlighted here, Tuesday, the 30th of July, or it says July or August. I don't know why it says, interesting. I copied that from the site, so I'll have to go and fix that and see if that's from the actual site itself. But 30th, I believe I'll double check that now, actually. I just did a blind copy paste there, but that might be interestingly wrong from the site. But we do have a docs freeze, everyone. And that's something that was implemented first time last cycle. It was pretty well executed and pretty well followed. And so that'll be something else that this cycle, again, will be looking at and specifically paying attention to in this SIG. Okay, I did just do a lot of talking there. Does anyone have any questions about the release?
I just confirmed it's July 30th for the docs race.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. I did see that the test freeze also looks, it says July 30th, but it's the week before. So that might be the one that's wrong. We'll see and check that later. Okay. I've done a bunch of talking. I think it's time for me to stop and get on to the next part of the agenda. We've got some issues and PRs that I know a few of our contributors here want to look at. And Mohammed, I would love to hand over the mic to you to talk about the navbar issue that you're experiencing and want to get some eyes on.
Thanks. Yeah, we have already brought these issues in the channel and also in the localization meeting. But we decided to bring it here to get more attention. And this also, it's not only related to the localization, but it's a general issue on the website. The problem appears when we started working with the Arabic localization. So we need to switch the website to right to left. And there we got a problem with the navbar. The logo is overlapping with the menu there, and we have been trying to solve this issue. We created first the issue there that described the problem. We linked the related works, and we also opened a draft PR targeting the Arabic Arabic localization branch in order to try to fix that and preview the how the fix works. And I also added this simplified example there just to show how things are currently implemented on the website, and also how we are planning to solve that issue here with a simplified code and simplified examples. And yeah, so we didn't get much feedback from people. I think only Tim were reviewing this work, but we need more people to see like the issue first and our solution, how we are planning like to solve that, and say if it's like the right direction and propose some or give some guidance for that. So yeah, that's about this issue, and I linked also a couple of resources like this Slack discussion where we have been trying to also open a discussion there. And during this work, we like went through different challenges that we sum up in another issue that just like say what is the current problems with the CSS and the challenges that we might face when trying to solve something on the website. Yeah, if you have any comment, please.
Great, thanks, Mohammed. Let's start in the with Ray, who had his hand up first.
Oh, just one. I just noticed that there's a work in progress prefix in the title of the PR. If it's typically I skip those when they're in the work in progress. If there's a work in progress as part of the title, so if you change it, edit the title, and remove that, then folks might be able to review that, or more folks might be able to review that.
Yeah, thanks for that. I actually, this is a fix, but not like a final fix. I just wanted to give limited changes to make it simple for people to see what is the issue and how we are trying to solve it. But this is not the final solution. So if we want to do this that way, we need to somehow perfect the position of the logo and add some more changes there. But here I'm trying to simplify things. That's why we added this whip.
Thanks, Mohammed. Ricardo, you're next.
So I'd like to focus first on the goal. Mohammed, can you describe, like in simple words, what is the goal here we're trying to achieve? I didn't get it.
We have a problem when we switch like the website from left to right into right to left, because we are trying to localize the documentation in Arabic, and that requires the right to left direction. Once we do that, we hit a problem, which is like the logo go in the wrong position over the menu.
So is it the scale problem, because we're trying to insert the Arabic menu in the menu?
What do you mean by scale?
Yeah, I'm maybe if there is an image showing the problem. There is an image here. Okay.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, so to help summarize, because Arabics starts from the different side of the page, our whole layout only focuses on languages that start from left to right, and Arabic is right. Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yep, cool.
Okay, I'll definitely have a look at it. I have some experience on that, but that's right. That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Tim, your hand's up next.
Yeah, so we've got a long-standing issue to add support for right-to-left languages, and I recommend that we do that work, which would incorporate making sure that the navbar is done right. Watch out for doing specific small fixes and not doing the bigger piece of work, because there's a cost. Doing the bigger piece of work and saying, yeah, we are going to pick this up and we're going to commit to it and we're going to add right-to-left language support sort of more formally, it's costly once. Small fixes are costly forever because they become a problem to maintain. They present for the unwary. They are something that people who are working on other changes to the site might think, oh yeah, I'm going to change the logo to the new logo or adjust this, and not know that there's a fix here intended for a sort of half-done right-to-left implementation. So I urge people to think about that long-term cost and to actually staff the RTL support.
Great, thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Mohammed, I think firstly, thank you for bringing this here to this group. I had suggested from the localization meeting that you may get a few more folks who have time and capacity and expertise to come and help out with this. But Tim does also make a really good point that looking at the kind of one larger solution for all possible RT, like right to left support for all languages this way, rather than your specific use case, which is a lot of work, but it does mean we can actually call on a lot more people from the community. It doesn't have to be only an Arabic localization team issue. It can be like a larger thing that the SIG is working on. It might be worthwhile, Tim, if I can ask, do we have an issue out already somewhere that we've put to push that work out?
Yeah, if you search the issue list for the words right to left, you will find an issue I filed about 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Good.
4 years ago.
Been doing this a while.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
And
good.
The sort of things that I would expect to see in there are setting dir, the dir attribute on either the HTML or the body element. I would expect to see. We already labeled all the other localizations as LTR to make it a bit easier. So we've done some early work. I'd expect to see changes where, when we are doing things like floating things to the right, or we are, aligning things to a side, those. So I've got a PR open at the moment, for example, which takes the copy to clipboard button, and at the moment there's some hard coded CSS in the HTML embedded, and that copy to clipboard button will be easier to localize when we move the CSS out into the separate CSS file, and the HTML in the layout is just HTML. So there's a lot of things that come under the umbrella of does the site localize, and part of the work is finding these places where it's hard coded, and part of them is and that's the issue. And part of the work is doing sort of more integration testing and looking at it. I still recommend taking that more holistic, that bigger picture look. Rather than looking at, does this render right? Does this look right on my screen? I'd also look at, does the HTML make sense? And are we able to make HTML that makes sense in left to right locales, and the same HTML or equivalent HTML makes sense in right to left locales? That's much more maintainable.
We've got a question from Ricardo in the chat there that maybe you'd be able to shed some light on, Tim, perhaps. Like, how big of an effort do you think this would be?
Big enough that I would run a call to size it.
Whoa. Okay.
Got it. I would say in the meantime, we've got two possible kind of calls to action here. On the issue itself, which thank you, Ray, for adding that into the agenda too, that we can the right to left language support issue. I mean, looking into this, but also for folks to also take a look at the issue and PR that Mohammed has shared, to share generally some like kind of good ideas and tips for them too, and how we can kind of work together on solving this. That would be really great. Any last comments that you'd like to share or like add in, Mohammed, before we move on to the next item?
No, I think that's all. Thanks, folks.
Great, thanks, and thanks for those who've already said they want to kind of take a look. Don't be too scared by the kind of size of work. Every little bit counts. So a bunch of us kind of chipping in and doing a bit of work is always worthwhile and helpful. Great.
Could I say one more thing?
Yes, you can.
So, we can split the big work up into small pieces. They might just be different small pieces than if we tackle the things based on the order we see them.
For sure. And if people have ideas of how to break up that work, that's also worthwhile, useful to like submit and give us information on. Absolutely. All right. Thanks, Mohammed, for bringing that to our attention. Thanks, everyone, for your input there. And thanks, Ray, for taking notes while I facilitate. Really appreciate that. We've got one more agenda item there. Actually, Ricardo, this is yours, and I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, I hopefully it's very quick. I just wanted to confirm with team here if we're still on the date that we initially, which was the 16, right? I put it in the PR on the top of the file. We have 16. So Are we set for that, or maybe not?
So this is going to go on YouTube. We're recording this call, and so I'm going to be mindful of that, but I'm going to say something critical, and it's really not aimed at Ricardo. It is aimed at, like, I don't know. It's not aimed. That's the key thing. But I'm going to say it. I've changed my name. I am no longer called SIG Docs Leads, and I'm no longer called Blog Team. I'm called Tim. And I'm getting a bit fed up of being, mentioned by name when it's a role. So that's not aimed at you, Ricardo, because you've done it once. But as a community, we do it a lot, and it's often me that gets named that way. I think it happens to a few other people as well. But I would urge people to ask the role for some help rather than one person. They might get overloaded.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I just asked for the team because that's actually what we were working together. It's just that, right? But it can be anyone. I mean, it's fine. So, Natalie.
I really want to grow the blog team. I want more people to be. So this is actually the different blog team. This is actually not SIGDocs doesn't run that website, but I'm also a reviewer on that website.
Okay. So who can guide me to whoever I need to connect to?
Yeah.
To
So
block this.
So to kind of build on Tim's point, we do have like 2 sites that post blog articles. We've got the main Kubernetes website, which for us SIG Docs, that is one of our sub projects as part of our SIG. And then we have the contributor site, which is a site that's specifically aimed at contributors for Kubernetes. They don't have as robust of a process in terms of publications, I don't believe, as we do, Tim. You can maybe correct me there. But they also don't have a specific concentrated blog team. I would say, given that both Tim and I are reviewers on the contributor site, but don't own that process, I can happily chase, let's say, someone like Josh Burkus, who I know has a few ideas and make some general decisions around that specific contributor site. I'm happy to chase for you, Ricardo, but generally on the contributor site, we have a bit of a less of a process around things be published.
Okay, because there was an idea then to sync this blog post, I think, with the actual website blogs.
Do you mean mirrored? Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I think what you mean is it would be published on the contributor site and then mirrored on the Kubernetes blog.
Yeah, I think that's the right term. Yes.
Great. So that
I don't have
publishing on the contributor site first. This PR right here.
Yeah, I don't know how the process goes, so I'm just chasing to how can I unblock it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I will in the SIGDocs blog channel, we can kind of keep it there, but I'll kind of bring or actually maybe even in the Contribex channel, I'll figure it out. But we'll get Josh into there and just make sure that publication is there. Okay, Tim.
Yeah.
So there is a team in SIG Contribex, by the way, which is SIG Contribex Comms, and they do have a Slack channel, and you can nudge people there as well. But maybe if you're willing to do that nudging, Natalie, on behalf of Ricardo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we will make this happen.
For sure. Especially since you've addressed all the feedback, as I can see here. So yeah, it looks like just figuring out when to publish.
And again, I am terribly sorry to mention a name, but Tim is so helpful. Sorry.
Yes.
Kudos.
Yes. As I'm sure you're aware, Ricardo, in the open source community, helpful can also then mean bogged down with work.
I know. I've been there. I am there.
Great. Thank you, Ricardo.
Yeah.
We've come to the end of our agenda.
Okay.
I know there's people that do have to jump, but before they do so, or before we end this meeting, I wanted to check if anyone else had anything they wanted to add to the agenda for today. You can unmute and talk, or you can put your hand up. Let me know. All right, that sounds like no, and we can end our meeting at the just about half an hour mark. want to say thanks to everyone for attending and bringing their different discussion points today. I'll follow up, Ricardo, right now for you in that specific channel and tag you as well so that you know and you can follow that conversation.
Thank you so much.
And then from then on, if anyone else needs anything, you can find us in SIG Docs. But thanks for attending and have a great rest of your day, wherever you are in the world.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.